Hello, everyone. This is DJ Patrick Scientific from the Audio Infusion, and I am Snow Angel. I'm just going to call you Snow Angel, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
So, thank you for agreeing to this Skype interview.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
We'll start off with the question, how did you get into start making music?
Depends how far back you want to go, but from the beginning.
Yeah, go for the beginning,
When I was really little, I sang and played piano and took piano lessons, sang in school plays and stuff like that. And then I taught myself how to play guitar when I was a teenager. And I started writing songs a little after that, and then it just kind of slowly evolved. I became a singer-songwriter first, but then eventually became someone who produces along with the writing and performing.
Okay, that's cool. So I like the fact that you were at least classically trained on the piano, right?
Yes, I was, and it's really helpful, especially as a producer when I work with other artists, or even just when I'm trying to make my own songs better. It's helpful to have that theory, the background. Even if I don't use it all the time, it's helpful to have it there.
Okay, so as you were growing up, who were some of the artists that influenced your style that you said, this is someone great, and maybe I could sing like them, or maybe not necessarily like them, but maybe I could sing too?
So it's funny. There are a couple things. Like I remember when I was really, really little, like maybe 5, being in the backseat of my parents' car, and the radio was on, and the radio station where we lived, they always played the Bruce Springsteen song "I'm on Fire," and I remember I loved it. I didn't know who it was or what it was, but I remember I was like, this is amazing. What is this music? And I also remember being a kid and having favorite songs with my parents. One of them was the Wham song. I think it's called Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. I don't know if that's the name of it. But anyway, all that type of early stuff I heard just kind of soaked in for me. Later in high school, I was really into like the acoustic guitar scene, because that's what I was learning. And I remember hearing Ani DeFranco, who was such an amazing guitarist and writer. And she was the first woman I'd heard really play guitar like that. And I remember having a double CD of it was from a live concert, and thinking I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to make all the music myself like that. So I had and then in college, I feel like I was all over the place listening to all different things. So I think I just kind of soaked in everything I listened to.
Okay, that's good. A lot of people do that. With your music, it's very eclectic. So how would you describe your music that you make?
I think, I guess I would describe it as dream pop, maybe. Because sometimes when I say it's electronic, because I make a lot of it electronically, people think it's either EDM or it's like kind of more hardcore electronica. And I think it's a bit more dreamy and mellow than that. Let me think if there's any good descriptions I've gotten of it. Yeah, I always have a hard time describing my own music. How would you describe it?
Well, I want to say there's an electronic vibe to it. I almost want to say trip-hop-ish a little bit.
Thank you. That's actually, with some of the beats, Massive Attack has been an influence of mine, their beats, and I think that's kind of maybe where that comes from.
Yeah, that is something where we kind of fit a lot of your music in that type of music that we play on our show. But it fits all over. I mean, of course, with some remixes, you can fit anywhere, but that's where it seems to work on our show. I mean, as a radio producer, producing a show, we have to find a song and find out where it fits and put it in a smart way so people can appreciate it, as opposed to just throwing it on the wall and seeing if it sticks. So I see a little bit of that. It's kind of hard to classify. I think that's what we do on the Audio Infusion. We play a lot of music that doesn't classify well, but we know it's good. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard to sell something if you can't classify it, because if you can't classify it, then you don't know what to tell someone else that might like it, what it sounds like. And there's a point where I understand that you as an artist don't want to be classified as anyone else.
Right. But I also hear what you're saying. Being able to classify something is part of being able to make it marketable and appealing to listeners. Yeah. So I see both sides of it.
That's the business aspect of any type of music. So with all that in mind, the first time I saw you, you had white hair. I mean, the Snow Angel thing was just like, okay, I see this is Snow Angel.
It was pretty obvious. So yeah, as you can see, my hair is really brown. And I think, I had been a singer-songwriter, acoustic singer-songwriter with a guitar, and I played with a band, and I was really in this almost like going in a path of like a Norah Jones type direction when I was younger. And when I started producing my own music, it actually was much more eclectic and electronic. And I felt like I needed a new persona to go with this new music that I was producing. And I felt compelled to make every aspect of the project fit together, really create a vibe that was authentic, but also, to pursue the artistry to its fullest extent, not just on the audio side, but on the visual side, to create visuals that look like Snow Angel, that look like that sounded. So I remember I just went for it. I got my hair bleached all the way up to white, and then I just kept doing it for a while till it ruined my hair. And then all of a sudden I didn't want to do it anymore, and I stopped, and now I have brown hair and I'm still Snow Angel, and I'm not sure what the next evolution is gonna be. But yeah, that was like a trademark. I think I wanted people to remember, to hear what I sounded like, look at the photos and remember the image as well.
All right. Yeah, the first video I saw was Keep You Out. What's it like shooting videos and creating the videos and the visuals for the songs that you're creating? Because it's great that you created a visual, like I want to say a static visual with like your image, but then you got to put it in motion with a video. How was that?
I loved creating the Keep You Out video. It was really fun. I worked with two directors, two women, and they were good friends with each other. And they wrote the script, and we worked on it together. We kind of worked out the edits, and one of the women did the styling. She got the clothes for me. We had a makeup. It was really cool because I got to show up and act, if you will, in a video for a song that I had created, but these other people, these other collaborators had really brought to life. And we filmed it in New York City, in apartments and out in the street. There's parts where I was, walking around cobblestone streets downtown in Tribeca, and it was a lot of fun. I thought that video, the look of it, really fit the song.
It did. I really thought so too. I remember playing the video on the radio station and realizing, man, if they could only see the video to this song.
Yes, I thought it added to the song.
Yeah, so you have this album Mothership that came out like about a year ago, I believe, right?
Yep, a year ago.
And what was the process in making that?
So that was an album where, I really mixed it up. Most of this time I've been creating music here in New York City. Instead, I went up to northern New York, to the Adirondacks, where I'm from, and isolated myself in a cabin in the woods with all my gear for several weeks and created the album there.
Oh.
Yes. So it was really immersive. I didn't do anything else. I would get up at 8 a.m, work on it all day, maybe go for a walk out in the snow, work all night, go to sleep at 2, 3 a.m, 4, wake up just a few hours later and have a cup of coffee and start working. And I was so in the zone. I just loved it.
Yeah, I wish more musicians had that opportunity to make music like that.
It was a real privilege to be able to do that.
Okay. So you've got some more music coming out, right? Or is it coming out soon?
Oh gosh, I hope so. I'm working on a new album, and I think, kind of like I did last time, I'll probably drop one single early on to give my listeners and friends a sneak peek of what I'm working on. Okay. The new sounds, yeah.
I'm sure we'll get a copy, right?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. You heard it first here. We're going to get a copy from her. We're the Audio Infusion. We like playing a lot of remixes of songs. Is there anyone that you would consider remixing your song, and any other genre remixes that you would consider doing?
Oh, wow. So as far as someone remixing my song, Oh, I'd be so curious. I've loved all the remixes I've ever had done of my music. You know, if this weren't a realistic question, if this were just like in a perfect world, you know, I was listening to Tom York's new stuff and I was thinking, I wonder what he would do with my music. He's a big influence of mine, his electronic stuff. There's a Danish producer named Trent Moller. I don't know if you've heard of him, but I love his stuff. I would love him to remix something of mine. And then for me, I actually really like remixing other artists. So I'd like doing more of that myself. I'd love to take something that's really different from what I'm doing and remix it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Again, when it comes to your music, talk about the evolution of your style and genre as an artist and a producer, how that's coming out, because you really don't have it's hard to describe your music, but it didn't just start there. It had to evolve to get to a point where it is. How did that happen?
So, you know, as we were talking about before, I was really in a kind of singer-songwriter Americana vein. And I remember a songwriting teacher of mine, Tony, he encouraged me to start learning technology so I could record my own demos because I didn't know how to use any sort of recording software.
Right.
And the thing is, when I started doing that, what I started creating actually was really different from what I had been making before. You know, I found that I didn't really want to play. I wanted to play by myself. I mean, sometimes I'll have someone with me, but most of the time it's just me. I didn't know that I liked making beats myself and playing bass lines. And I think for me, the evolution was really learning software and hardware of how to produce my own music, changed the type of music I was making. Because all of a sudden I could create what I was hearing in my head. I finally had the tools to do that. Whereas beforehand I'd think, well, I wanted to sound like this, but I didn't really know how to describe it and how to get there. So I feel like my evolution was really influenced by my learning the technology. And over time, the music became, as you said, kind of more electronic in the vibe, and more eclectic because I could throw in all sorts of samples and do all sorts of things. Anything, you know, you could think outside the box a little bit more. So I don't know. I'm sure it'll keep evolving in the future. And I think that's good. I want to just, it's kind of like the music that I make, it decides. It just comes and it gets made. I don't always get to choose what it's going to sound like, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. And it's one of those things where I believe since you're making everything on your own, and I don't think you have this massive studio and you're not playing each and every instrument, it's easier to do that electronically. And when you do it electronically, you kind of get to understand the music and you can try to do even more things, you know, so you kind of have to do more with the setup. I mean, exactly.
You have to get creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the last things I want to talk to you about is you've done something with Ableton or another company where there's like a software kit or synth kit, which is the I Am Snow Angel synth kit. I'm sure you're very proud of that. And I remember seeing it and I'm just like, wow, she's got a synth kit. It's all about her.
So you're right. I am very proud of it. It's been a big deal for me because I went from not knowing much about music technology to really working really hard on it and now being able to share what I've learned with other people. And there's two things I've done in the sound design world. One is there's a website called splice.com where a lot of DJs and producers get their samples, and that's where I have an I Am Snow Angel sample pack with hundreds of sounds, synths, vocal sounds, ambient sound, all sorts of things, kind of like my signature sound, that dreamy type of sound, and that's available. You know, someone can download it from Splice and have a whole assortment of sounds that I created to use. And it's cool because sometimes people will write to me and say, here's a song I made, I just put it out on Spotify and I use your sample pack to make it, and I get to hear what they did with it. I also work for a company called Ableton, which is, I would say it's probably the leading electronic music making software, and they also have hardware. They have something called the Ableton Push. I work as a sound designer for Ableton, creating the synth presets that live inside the program. So when a music producer, DJ buys Ableton and downloads it and downloads the packs, the sound packs that come along with it, I've created a lot of the sounds that live inside those packs, especially the synths.
Okay, that's wonderful. So you're even on the back end trying to do some stuff. So that's great.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but thank you very much for at least talking to us and giving us an idea of what's going on. So I know you got music in the future. You said it. We have you. It's recorded. You're going to get it to us.
Yes, I will. Mark my word. Thank you so much for having me, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. And thanks again. And all the best and best wishes in the future, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right.
This is DJ Wish from the Audio Infusion. Thanks for listening to this audio interview. If you like what you heard, click the subscribe button below.